Alrighty, everybody, welcome to Casual Podcast. Week 3 NHL Playoff Edition. And now we got a gentleman right here who's happy that the Leafs didn't leave, but it made it to the second round. Here's Douglas.
You know, I still haven't got my money.
That's right.
Where's my money?
Doug is clearly happy because you owe him $5.
Hey, Theodore, you owe me money.
Give me my money.
Where's my money? Where's my money? Check the tape. Remember when I told you? Check the tape.
Well, exactly. You won the Dallas bet. I won the Maple Leafs bet. So we.
Sure, I will Venmo you right now, live on the podcast. $5.
Well, do you just want to Venmo me, Chris, so that way Stu doesn't have to make it easy.
So we're all even then if I Venmo Doug $5, right?
All right, that makes sense to me.
All right.
So just send it straight to my account, Chris. I'll cash the check.
I'll do that right now.
I don't trust Stu sending me this money.
Anyway, Douglas. And now we got a gentleman right over here who still says, I don't want to talk about the Cavs tonight. Here's Chris.
Hey, it's all right. Talk about Sunday night, Tuesday night, doesn't matter. Hopefully Cavs in 6. Let's go. Man.
Wow.
Yeah, what a choke job. I know we're not talking about NBA as much until probably later in the podcast, but man, what a choke job.
What a choke.
All right, Doug, let me know. I'm Venmoing you $5 right now, Doug. This will make up for Stewart's losses or what I owe Stewart. I'm saying that
amazing,
right
Stu.
now via Venmo. We're live.
That's amazing. I'm going to go get a Starbucks coffee in the morning, Stu. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. And now, gentlemen, we got to talk about what is your thoughts on the 8 teams that made it to
the second round?
The second round of the NHL playoffs. Well, I like all 8 of them.
I know we're pretty well contested between Doug and Stu for that Senators Leafs Maple Leafs series. That was awesome. But man, we had a great that Dallas Stars Avalanche series go to Game 7. The Jets Blues, man, we were texting it live between Doug and I. Stuart, you might have been in bed, whatever. But man, yes. that Jets Blues series was amazing.
That was a great series. Honestly, Jets Blues was a great series. I mean, going to overtime, Game 7 for Winnipeg. Yeah, that Winnipeg, it's like, this is what I want. This is like my dream for a Game 7 to go to overtime. I don't care if it takes 2 hours. I want it to be the most intense 2 hours. Both teams are fighting.
So were you awake to watch the double overtime?
Yes, I did.
Were you really? Oh, that's impressive. I respect that because I was awake. And I think I texted our group chat. I was like, man, I thought I was going to go to triple overtime. But just the way the end of regulation ended, the third period, Blues were up 3-1 with 2 minutes left. Jets cap it off, tie it 3-3, send it to overtime. What a series. What more can you want in a playoff series, regardless of the sport it is, you know?
I just want that. That is probably my one dream right there. But got some sad news, gentlemen. Douglas, you look so serious because you know the sad news is about to do. We need to do the burr, 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 burr. All the teams that didn't make it to the second round.
Yep.
We gotta start out.
Salute there.
Yes. We gotta start out with the first team that got eliminated. The New Jersey Devils, which unfortunately the Devil took it away for New Jersey. Do you have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts on this? The Devils, they started out the season one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, and I thought they're going to put up a way better fight than they did. They lost 4-1 in the series. I knew this was going to be a heavily contested series. Well, not heavily contested because obviously the Hurricanes won 4-1. But I thought the Devils were going to put up a way better fight than what they did. So that's my final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been it was kind of a snooze fest. I mean, you did have that overtime, which the Devils came back. But then, yeah, the Hurricane won in overtime.
Oh, wow. Good point there, Stuart. Yeah, so the Devils, the only game they won was in overtime. Besides that, I mean, games 1, 2, and 4, the Hurricanes blew them out pretty much. Wow.
But it is kind of funny because in our podcast we're like, well, we're not doing eulogies yet, and then our podcast ends, and then the hurricane won, and it's like, well, got to do my eulogy.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I always feel like Hurricanes are not the Hurricanes, the Devils. I always feel like they're like that mid team that makes the postseason but doesn't really get far. In my opinion, I'm not that surprised. I think all three of us actually did pick the Hurricanes to make it win this one.
Is that true?
I mean, yes.
I
all picked Hurricanes.
against them. Is this where Mr. Aho plays?
Yes.
Yeah, Sebastian Aho plays for the Hurricanes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was smart to pick with that guy. He's a stud.
Mm-hmm. So, Douglas, do you have any final thoughts and sadness on the New Jersey Devils?
I mean, no sadness here. I don't. I kind of root for the Carolinas. I got some Carolina bias in me.
Ooh.
Boo.
Why?
I mean, also, yeah.
We used to vacation there when I was a kid.
Okay, I mean, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, North Carolina.
Yeah, we went to the Outer Banks a lot.
Outer Banks is at North Carolina. Beautiful.
Yeah, that was a vibe right there.
But I will say, would you like to go
Great
to a Carolina
destination.
Hurricanes game?
Would I like to go to one?
Yeah, I think my one dream place, if I want to go to, is a Toronto Maple Leafs game.
Really?
That would be
That's
fun.
so interesting. Yeah, it would.
Wouldn't it be fun?
I mean, they're probably going to win the Stanley Cup this year, Stu. Stu, let's go to the season opener next year and watch them take home their Stanley Cup.
Boo!
We can see them put the banner in the ceiling after
I'm sorry, there is no cups that are going to happen. I'm sorry. We are, as the anti Leafs fan bias right here. There's going to be no cups. There's going to be nothing. Granted, you did well. But anyway, we got to go back to the Devils.
So you're saying there's going to be no cups for the Carolina Hurricanes, Stu? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think they might be a cup. But we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, because now, I mean, I'm not trying to go off tangent here, but I mean, right now, the Carolina Hurricanes, they succeeded over the Washington Capitals in Game 1. They're up 1-0. But I mean, just because they win Game 1 doesn't mean that they're going to win the series.
No. It is definitely true that, you're definitely not guaranteed to win the series if you, if you win the series, yeah, you get to move on. But if you win a playoff game, yes, it does not mean it's guaranteed unless it's 4.
That's right. You got to win 4. Can't just win 1.
Mm-hmm. So unfortunately for the Devils, the Devil went back to Carolina and told him, no, it is not in New Jersey.
Do you guys know the New Jersey Devils? Are they more close to New York, or are they more close to Atlantic City on the Atlantic side of things?
I think they're in. Well, that's actually a good Google. How close? That is a good Chat GPT question. How close is the New Jersey Devils at Atlantic City or New York City?
So they play at the Prudential Center. Let me see if I can get a quick old Google mapping here. No, that's more close to New York than it is Atlantic City. I would say I would love to go to because I love Atlantic City. I would love to go to a New Jersey Devils game if it was close to Atlantic City. But man, based on it, it looks like it's a solid 6-hour drive. So disregard. Yeah, it's more like New York Jets, New York Giants, and the New Jersey Devils. Seems like they're all pretty close in geography, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it is crazy to think that there's like 3 NHL teams that are like super close by, like New Jersey, New York, all that stuff right there. They're the Rangers, the Islanders, the Devils. Okay, gotcha. Yes, and unfortunately New Jersey,
it's weird that like 2 teams in the NBA shared an arena for a while too. What's that all about? Yeah, the Knicks, and you said that there's another NBA team. Yeah, wasn't the Lakers and Clippers? Well, the Lakers and Clippers for all those years, they finally. Oh, I thought you were talking about for New York specifically. I gotcha. Yeah, the Clippers, the Lakers, Clippers probably, yeah.
But anyway, so long, New Jersey. Avita, say goodbye. You will always be the little brother of New York. And now we got our next victim of the losses. The Montreal Canadiens, Sacre Bleu, got eliminated against Washington, 4-1. Do you have any sad thoughts on the Montreal Canadiens?
I definitely brought up in one of the podcasts before, and you know how it was the Canadiens versus the Blue Jackets fighting for the final playoff spot, the wild card spot. And I think we all agreed that it'd probably be the same outcome had it been the Blue Jackets.
Wait a minute.
Or the Canadiens. What?
Are you telling me that the Blue Jackets, in my delusional thoughts, that they were going to win the Stanley Cup? I was like, if they would have made that postseason they were going to win a Stanley Cup. They would have swept the Capitals.
Honestly, for Johnny Gaudreau, R.I.P., rest in peace, great hockey player, it would have been amazing had the Blue Jackets made to the playoffs, won it all. But that's not the way the cards fall. And like I mentioned earlier in one of the previous podcasts, I think it would have been the exact same outcome. Because the Canadiens, didn't the Caps sweep them not sweep them, but they won 4-1, right?
Yeah, only one overtime. The rest of the games were all like blowouts, if you think about it.
Yeah, I just think that the Capitals, it was very shocking that the Capitals lost tonight to the Hurricanes. I think actually I have the Panthers. I think in one of our previous podcasts, I picked the Panthers to make it from the Eastern Conference to represent the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup. But I'm pretty sure I predicted the Panthers versus the Capitals in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I will say this for Montreal. Good for them. They have at least made, this is the first time in 4 years they made a postseason. Like, it's crazy to think. They went from, like, making the Stanley Cup Finals in the COVID year to just never making a playoff season. It was garbage. I think even 2 years ago, they're the second worst team in the NHL. So to recover from that and to do all that, to do well, you got to hang on to. Good job. Good job, gentlemen. Right over there in the land of Montreal. The French.
So I just love the way you pronounce it. I mean, that's pretty authentic. I just like the way you pronounce.
Yes, it's not Montreal. It's Montreal. Oh, Canadiens.
You pronounce it way better than Doug and I, clearly.
Yes. Yeah. You see, oui. My French is so.
Do I have any final thoughts on the Canadiens? How do you pronounce it?
Canadiens.
Canadian. I don't know.
No, you got to say it correctly. Yeah. It is. Canadiens.
Coming off as biased as a Columbus Blue Jackets fan, I would much rather. I would have watched the series more had the Columbus Blue Jackets been it. But yeah, no really final thoughts on the Canadiens, however you pronounce it. Doesn't matter.
The Canadiens.
Doug, what are your final thoughts on the Canadiens?
Man, it's a shame for Canada. I would love to see a Canadian team take home the cup this year, Stu.
I also remember Doug's one comment. Had it not been because you got the Ottawa Senators and you have the Toronto Maple Leafs. I remember Doug's one comment in one of the previous podcasts is if it would have been awesome to see all the Canadian teams lose in the first round.
That's hilarious.
I love that comment from Doug. That was great. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And we still have the Toronto Maple Leafs. We have the Winnipeg Jets. So yeah, I like that. You have the comment right now, Doug, that hopefully we could see a Canadian team.
Yeah, and
we also have the Edmonton Oilers. Let's go.
Oh man, yeah, Edmonton was down 2-0 when I last checked. They were getting kind of hosed in Vegas.
And now it's 2-1 against the Golden Knights.
Is that? Oh heck yeah!
End of the first period.
Was it Mr. McDavid? Did he get one?
Oh, let's hope so.
Yeah. I mean, my final thoughts. Good for you. You punched up. I didn't expect them to make the postseason. You made the postseason. I'm not going to hate on you guys. So, there's
I'll hate slightly because I took a spot away from.
Yeah, I will hate on the Canadiens, Stu. They took a spot away from the Blue Jackets, potentially the Red Wings.
Well, the Red Wings just became the Dead Wings at that point. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, the Red Wings still had an opportunity.
Dude, the Red Wings even got shafted in the draft lottery too, bro. Yeah, I hate these lottery systems because they're so biased against Detroit teams.
So actually, I like the lottery systems because the NBA it's worked out pretty well. Especially
see, it's been great for the Cavs. You guys get the number one pick every time you suck.
So that's what the NFL should start doing, like a lottery-based system or the final, or the,
you know
or the
what?
bottom.
If that happened, the Browns would somehow be like the 10th overall pick every draft.
Exactly. Like you can't just be I can't think of the word right now, but you have the final the bottom. Yeah, tank it. Thank you, Stu. The bottom 4 teams, they have like a final playoff, and then the team that wins the final 4 playoff gets the number 1 overall pick. Or
you should have it the opposite. You should be like the final 4, and whoever has the worst loses in the final 2 in the toilet bowl, which will probably be the Browns.
See, but then you're kind of at least make it.
That's called tanking. When you lose on purpose, that's called tanking.
Exactly. We're trying to avoid tanking, Stu.
Yeah.
Doug
doesn't like the whole lottery system. Where
I just don't like it because it screws Detroit every time. Like every single one I've ever seen.
I took all the ping pong balls away, and I'm just like, okay, I need to throw away some Detroit, maybe throw away some Red Wings.
Like it is unreal, man, and like we want the number 1 pick sometimes.
So I have no idea how MLB does it, but for some reason last season, the Cleveland Guardians, they got the number 1 overall pick, and we finished pretty well last season. So I have no idea how MLB does it. But I think all teams should establish or all sports should establish a uniform system. You know, whether it's a lottery pick like the NHL does it, or the NFL. Well, I don't like the NFL. You know, you could tank and then get the best pick overall. I don't really like that.
But you could be the Browns and tank, and you still tank, and you're still in the factory of the triangle circle of misery.
The triangle circle of misery. Love it. I love a good old triangle circle.
Yeah, and you should have like do you still have Tim Couch jerseys?
So apparently, Shedeur Sanders, he was number 2 at Colorado. He's going to number 12. Because apparently Tim Couch, he was number 2. He was the number 1 overall pick, 1999. I don't know if the number is not retired, but he doesn't want other quarterbacks to have number 2 for the Cleveland Browns organization.
I know Tim Couch was so hated, Browns fans wanted him injured.
No, the Cleveland Browns, the fans loved Tim Couch.
But he sucked as a quarterback.
Yeah, well,
was there actually love for Tim Couch?
I mean, Tim Couch, quarterback, Kentucky, number 1 overall pick, 1999. I mean, he didn't really he never really won any playoff games or even led us to a playoff games, but he gave us hope. But I mean, just because you give us hope doesn't mean you're going to give us a playoff win.
And also, like I said, the Browns, with the tradition of Tim Couch, have done a tradition of just ruining top quarterbacks in the NFL. But anyway.
I mean, the Browns, I mean, we're talking about the NHL, but the Browns did not ruin Baker Mayfield. We should have kept on to Baker Mayfield. Now he's on to a team.
Browns.
The Browns drafted Baker Mayfield, and now he's having a better career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So,
man, you guys would be a total playoff team with a guy like Baker.
Yeah, right?
I know.
Now we don't ruin quarterback careers. We just draft the wrong quarterbacks, like Johnny Manziel, Money Manziel.
You should probably just have Deshaun Watson as your starter, right?
You know, we should just draft 2 quarterbacks in the NFL draft. Oh, look, we did that. Oh, great. We'll be set now.
But anyway, so long. Au revoir, Montreal Canadiens. So long. Is that right? Au revoir.
Au revoir, goodbye. So long till you walk goodbye.
You're the one that speaks French.
Yes, sir. You're the best French speaker here.
Yes. But now we went from one part in Canada to now the Battle of Florida, where we have to do a eulogy on the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh, I listened to last week's podcast, or was it 2 weeks ago? I don't know. But, man, we had no hope in Tampa Bay.
No.
We were all for the Panthers, in which it came out completely accurate. And now we got the Panthers.
You're correct. You said Panthers game 5, and you're right, Theodore.
Actually, I listened to the podcast, and I actually was hopeful for the Lightning to win game 5 to force a game 6, but we were all, but that didn't happen. But we were all very confident that the Panthers would win, no matter what game it was, and that's sure enough what happened. So, Battle of Florida, Panthers got it done. Sergei Bobrovsky.
And it does stink for the Lightning. Okay, even though they did make it to 3 final cups and won 2 cups. Are they heading to the Penguins level? Are they heading to the Red Wings level, Douglas?
Not even close, Stu. They're still a playoff team. They're not bottom of the league.
All right.
What do you mean by level? Oh, the Penguins or the Red Wings? What do you mean by that, Stu?
Like they won a bunch of cups. They were doing so well. This is like the great roster, but then they just make a postseason. And they still choke. And they made a postseason. And they still choke. And you would even agree, like 2015, 2014, Douglas, even as a Red Wings fan, you were not happy that they were making a postseason at this point. It's like, blow this team up.
I thought you were talking about right now Red Wings. My apologies.
But I'm just saying, 2015 Red Wings, weren't you happy that they made a postseason just so you can get blown out in the first round?
Well, Stu, if I knew what I know now, I would definitely have been very happy for a postseason appearance. In the moment, you still want to make the playoffs too.
So,
especially when you know you're going to lose the draft lottery anyways every single year. It's like, I'd rather just at least make the playoffs. We're still going to be picking the same freaking spot.
Hey,
doesn't matter.
Well, speaking of lotteries, maybe they should, increase having more Red Wings fans by doing the free Cadillacs raffle.
Still that might help.
Is that something that used to happen?
Yes. So in the 1980s, when the Red Wings were really bad and they were garbage in the 80s, you know what I mean? Like they were called the Dead Wings. They literally their tickets were so low. They needed to get so many people in there. They literally raffled for free Cadillacs raffles.
Well, that's nice. So, Doug, why are you so? I don't want to say you're upset, but why are you so unhappy with the way the Red Wings got there? Because they have the 13th overall pick, and I know that because the Columbus Blue Jackets, they have the 14th overall pick, and I know the Red Wings have. It's the Blue Jackets 14th and the Red Wings number 13th. Why are you so unhappy with them having the 13th overall? You think they should have had a better?
It's not about just this one. It's about like the last 3. Because like the Red Wings would have one of the lowest point totals in the league every year, and they would pick like 7th, 8th, 9th. But it's like they had like a bottom 3 point total. So like if it was any other sport, they would have been a top 3 pick. There was like generational players, and instead we kind of kept getting pushed back. And then even this year, I think the Islanders went from like 12th best all the way up to the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
And so it's like, like the major markets always seem to like randomly benefit from that type of stuff.
So do you think Connor Bedard had he was drafted 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the Red Wings had a chance at him? Had they had a better draft lottery?
I mean, I think that there was a chance that year that he could have went to Detroit instead.
Gotcha, because I know the Blackhawks, which Connor Bedard plays on currently, they have the number 4 overall pick. So maybe I'm trying to see where you're coming from. Maybe Connor Bedard would have had a better career. I know he's only been in the league 2 years, but maybe if he was drafted on another team compared to the Blackhawks, maybe he would have a better career going right now.
I mean, I will always say it. Some of those Lightning players, Douglas, in 2013, like Nikita Kucherov, wouldn't some of those Lightning players look a lot better in Red Wings gear?
I mean, at this point, still, we would take anybody. Like, Dylan Larkin and Steve Yzerman are kind of like bickering in the media, too. It's just kind of an embarrassing look.
Yeah, that's awkward. But anyway,
Yzerman, he's a GM, right?
Yeah.
And then what's Larkin?
So like he's kind of saying that Larkin needed to step up his game, and Larkin's like, "Oh, I can't believe we didn't make a move." And then it's like y'all both need to move on, man. Like let's figure out how to win hockey games. Not bicker in the
This is like a couple that just needs a divorce, and you're just staying for the kids.
Well, like that's like
that's a good analogy.
You're not far off there, Stu. And I'm like,
I like that.
Like I've kind of I mean I am gonna kind of take a side here. I've always been kind of like. Even though Larkin went to the University of Michigan, I've never been a huge fan. Like I've just felt like he doesn't skate hard, and I don't know how to express that. But if I had to pick one, I'd pick Yzerman.
Though it would be kind of funny if Dylan Larkin goes to another team and they win a cup.
I think I missed what you said, Stu.
Yeah, Stu, what'd you say?
How would you feel if Dylan Larkin goes to another team and they won the cup that year?
I mean, I wouldn't have any hate for him, man. I mean, I like Dylan Larkin. I don't know that he's the right choice for our captain.
Yeah.
So
like with him as captain, we have not accomplished anything. Like him coming from Stevie Yzerman, who was arguably the greatest captain, he's still nicknamed the captain. I'm going to go with his perspective on that one over a guy that one guy won like 5 Stanley Cups as a player. One guy can't even make the playoffs.
Yeah. But anyway, speaking of teams that did make the playoffs, do you think the Lightning are going to be in the Penguins level?
Didn't we just talk about this?
Yeah,
I know you said it's not going to happen, but I feel like
we just had the entire conversation about.
I know, but do you feel like they could be, because it's been like the last 3 years. They lost it. They lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs. They lost to the Panthers. Lost to the Panthers.
Well, then let them keep losing to the Panthers. Then Battle of Florida.
Yeah, I'll say it kind of sucks. I mean, when you lose to the Stanley Cup champion, is that really like last year they lost to the team that won the Stanley Cup? Like that's not a panic alert. That's we lost to the best team in hockey alert.
I always say that if you're ever playing in a tournament, whether it's you or your favorite team, if you lose to the eventual champ, wow, then you lost to the champion. That's amazing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think probably an embarrassment is you lost to like a team and then they just like collapse.
Yeah, exactly. If you're like the Ottawa Senators, and like I'm not saying the Toronto Maple Leafs are a disgrace or anything like that. Because they're up 1-0 against the Panthers. But if you're the Ottawa Senators, you lost to the Maple Leafs in the fashion that they did, and then the Maple Leafs got embarrassed by the Panthers, then okay, that'd be a different story. But right now, as the Senators, you lost the Maple Leafs. You fought hard, and now the Maple Leafs you farted hard, you partied hard. So yeah, right now the Maple Leafs are up 1-0 against the Panthers, who are the Panthers the reigning champs?
Yes.
So yeah, and now you got the Maple Leafs who are up 1-0 against the reigning champs. So yeah, as the Senators, you should not be mad about the team, but that's the way
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, we'll see. Maybe the Lightning could do better for next year, or maybe they'll just be in the same fate and like lose to Florida again. 2026, same thing happens.
Let's make it 3 years in a row that the Lightning lose in the Battle of Florida.
Yeah, it's like Groundhog's Day every year.
Great movie.
That is a great movie right there. But unfortunately, so long, Lightning. You got lightning doubts. And now we got to talk about some other teams that got embarrassed. The LA Kings at one point had a 2-goal lead.
A 2-goal league or they had a 2-game lead.
2-series lead. Then game 3, we're in the lead in the third period, lost. Game 4 in the third period in the lead, lost. Game 5 in the lead against the Oilers in the third period, lost. Game 6 in the lead with the Oilers in the third period, lost.
So I'll start off by saying that I was listening to one of our previous podcasts. We were all very confident. All 3 of us agreed that the LA Kings would win this series, and that did not happen. Nope. And I'm so glad that we were we were proven wrong. And I would like, and I mentioned one of the previous podcasts, it'd be amazing to see. I can't think of his name. Come on, guys, help me out.
Who?
Austin Matthews. What? Not Austin Matthews. Connor McDavid.
There we go, Connor McDavid. It would be great to see him win the Four Nations Cup as well as the Hoist Lord Stanley. I know right now they're losing 2-1 going in the second period against the Golden Knights, but man, it'd be amazing. But back to this series, LA Kings, they were in domination fashion. They're up 2-0 and they lose 4-2. They lost 4 straight. Hopefully that's what's going to happen with the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers, because the Pacers are up 2-0. So hopefully the Cavs will win 4 straight. But yeah, it's amazing that the Oilers came back and won 4 straight games. when they're facing elimination, not facing elimination, but when they were down.
Also, Douglas, did you hear about the controversy of the Kings that there was a goalie interference in one of the games, and the coach did not call a challenge?
I did not see this.
Yes, I don't know if it was game 5 or game 6, but it's like, come on.
Was it a vital? Was it a pivotal?
Yes.
Was it like? What was the score? Like, was it within one goal or like?
Yeah, it was 1-2.
Yeah, it's real unfortunate.
Like, this team is. I mean, granted, they haven't won a cup. They haven't won a playoff series in like almost 11 years. The tradition continues. You can't make it out of the first round. Good job, LA. But it's just like, this is probably the big. Honestly, I could probably say of all the teams that did not make the second round, this is the biggest embarrassment in the NHL.
Why is that?
4 games. Game 3, you're in the lead, you lost. Game 4, you're in the lead and lost. Game 5, you're in the lead in the third period and you lost. Game 6, you're in the lead and you lost. 4 games. You were in the lead in the third period.
Really?
That is, we like to call choking hazard. I mean, I know the Oilers are good, but still, this is more of a damnation of the LA Kings right now.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the Kings in Game 3, the Kings were up 4-3 going into the third period. Okay, so let's check out game 4 here real quick. Game 4 going into the third period. Yeah, the Kings were up 3-1 going into the third period.
That's embarrassing.
Game 5 going into the third period, it was tied 1-1, and Edmonton took the lead in Game 5 going into the start of the third period. Then Game 6 going into the third period, no, Edmonton completely held on to the lead. They were up 3-2 going in the second period. Edmonton had lead 5-3 going into the third period.
But still, that's embarrassing. 4 games in the lead. You lost 2 of them.
Well, no.
Yes.
No, you said the 4 games they're going in the lead. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
But still,
they started the series up 2-0. So yeah, they had opportunity to just win 2 more games to clinch the series. Yeah.
Like, Douglas, don't you agree? Is this an embarrassment?
I mean, embarrassment's kind of a strong term. I mean, you're playing the team that was in a Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals last year.
But you were
with the best player on the planet. It's like
you're 2 games ahead.
Yeah, I mean, lots of teams go up 2 games. These are the best players in the world. You know, like the teams can get hot real quick in the NHL, that's for sure.
But still.
I mean, choke job, sure, but embarrassment, that's too far from me, Stu, okay?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Embarrassment's a word I say for, like, the Dallas Cowboys, okay, Stu?
Let's go. Let's go.
Really? Why
was that mean?
Why do you have to do this to me? I don't. We're talking about anything.
When Stuart gets close into the camera, you know that was mean. Truthful but mean.
Sorry, Stu.
I did say on one of the podcasts that the winner of the Kings Oilers series would make it to the Western Conference Championship game or the Western Conference Final. They would beat the Golden Knights. So yeah, we got halfway through the second period. Golden Knights are still up 2-1, but I still think the Oilers will pull it out and beat the Knights to advance to the Western Conference Finals. I'm just excited for the Stars Jets game, Stars Jets series. But yeah, back to what we're saying, Stuart. Yeah, the Kings they had a great team. You know, they started off
not this series.
What?
Just saying. They had a great team, but not in this series.
Well, they had a great team to start the series off 2-0, up 2-0, and they lost 4 straight. Yeah, they started off hot. Yeah, and they finished cold.
You're hot,
so unfortunately,
you're cold.
You're hot and you're cold. But
You're
anyway,
no. Katy Perry.
I will say, for the LA Kings, unfortunately, you got dethroned.
Yeah, that happened a while ago. They haven't won a cup in like 11 years, too.
Yeah, that's true right there. There's no Kings for them. And now we got our next eulogy. The Ottawa Senators, who disappointed me because I wanted all these economy for the Toronto Maple Leafs to choke this series. It would have been hilarious. I would have LOL'd the whole way through. But unfortunately, they had to lose Game 6.
It was so funny and comical that our last podcast last week, the Senators, they were up 3-2. And still, you still took another $5 bet, thinking that the Senators could win 2 straight games to clinch the series.
I'm just saying, okay? I've seen these
Stu,
Leafs choke.
Double or nothing right now. You know how it ends. Double or nothing.
No.
Sir, do you think the Senators could come back, even though they already lost the series? Do you think they can come back and win it?
They could come back and win it. I'm just saying. It could happen.
Yeah, man. Honestly, the Senators, for what happened, they made it a great series because weren't the Maple Leafs, they were up 3-0 in the series? Yeah, they were up 3-0. Senators came back. They won 2 straight games. And, yeah, I mean, they made it a series. That's what hockey's about, making it a series. And yeah, the Battle of Toronto. No, sorry, not the Battle of Toronto. The Battle of Canada. Yeah, it was a fun series to watch, especially the Maple Leafs fans. When it was a live podcast and we were watching the game, all of us kind of, and it was a shorthanded goal that the Senators scored, and the Maple Leaf fans, they were in shock that happened. I'm pretty sure that was game 5. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I will say it. We're going to do the eulogy on the Senators and not the Leafs. I'm sad. But for the Senators, you did punch hard. First time since 2017. I think they're the longest team in the teams that made the postseason that has not made a postseason. Yeah, because there's nobody else that I can think of. Like, everyone else has at least made it last year.
Yeah, it was a bummer for Mr. Brady Tkachuk, huh?
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, he lost the 4 Nations and he lost the Stanley Cup.
Yes.
What is the other Tkachuk brother? What team does he play for?
The Panthers.
All right. Well, he's moving on. That's good.
Oh yeah. I don't know if
it would have been awesome to see
the fantastic Maple Leafs though. The Maple Leafs might take down another Canadian team, taking down a Tkachuk brother. What a heartbreaker, Stu.
Ooh.
It would be such a heartbreaker right there.
Sir, how would you feel if the Maple Leafs, they're up 1-0 right now against the Florida Panthers in round 2. How would you feel if the Maple Leafs won? They beat the Panthers and they moved on to the Eastern Conference Final.
I don't want that.
Would you take away your can't think of the word, but would you take away that you think they're a choke job?
I still think they're a choke job. They will always be a choke job in my heart's a heart.
Even though this year's they're not really, even if they made it to the Eastern Conference Final, they would pretty much not be a choke job this season. Like, how many years would it take you to say that the Maple Leafs are not a choke job? Because right now they're looking legitimate.
All right, not making it to the semis, but we're talking about the Ottawa Senators. You know what? My eulogy on the Senators. You made it far. First time since 2017. You made a postseason. I can't be hating on you guys. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Unfortunately, the Battle of Ontario, you will still be the little brother to the Leafs.
Is Ontario, is that a region?
Yeah, it's the capital. It's technically the capital of Canada.
Because I know there's like 5 different regions or whatever in Canada.
Providence.
Ottawa is.
Thank you.
Yes, Ontario is part of that.
So is Ottawa or are Ottawa and Toronto in the same Providence?
Yes.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Yes. So it was the Battle of Ottawa. Unfortunately, the Senators got sent out, and now we got 2 more teams we can talk about. 3 more. We got the Minnesota Wild wiling out. Unfortunately, winning out as a whimper, losing to Vegas Golden Knights.
Whimper.
4-2.
Are you calling? What did they lose in game 6?
Yeah, they lost game 6.
Honestly, I didn't think. I mean, props to the Minnesota Wild. It was wild that they even went to game 6 because I think we talked about in one of our previous podcasts, like the Golden Knights, ever since the expansion draft, they've always been not a domination of a team, not a dominant team, but they've always they've made the playoffs majority of the times they've been in the league. And I thought the Golden Knights were going to win in 4, if not 5.
I thought so too. I mean, granted, I thought they were going to win in 5. And now I guess we should also talk about that, another team that's been a long time that has never won a cup in their entire franchise history. Because if I'm correct, Minnesota's never won a cup, right, Douglas?
Well, I'm pretty sure, sorry to interrupt you, Doug, if you're about to start talking, but I'm pretty sure Minnesota and Columbus are pretty much right on the same level of, or pretty much the same number of years they've been in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
And I also
believe either teams won a cup, though. That's a shame.
None teams won the cup. Last time the Minnesota's won a playoff series since 2011. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, let's see. I graduated high school. Holy crap.
It's been since you graduated high school, Douglas, that the last time the Minnesota Wild has won a postseason.
Well, I didn't even know Stu or Chris. Amazing.
But it's kind of crazy. But I feel like they're not like, even though I like to dunk on the Leafs, I feel like Minnesota's not been embarrassingly bad because it's like lost because you played against Vegas, who's dominant.
So yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Stu, but yeah, the Wild and the Blue Jackets joined the NHL same year, 2000.
Yep. So guess who's right? Right again. But anyway.
I hope they did something special for their 25th anniversary.
Like win a playoff series. Oh wait, they can't.
I mean, they did something special. They made the playoffs, unlike the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, that's true. The Columbus Blow Jackets, they blow and they're just terrible.
Yeah, it sucks.
But do you have any final thoughts on the Minnesota Wild?
For their 25th anniversary, good job for making the playoffs, even though you had to go up against a hard franchise, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, which has been a predominantly domination of a franchise within their. When did the Knights even join the NHL? Let's see.
2017. 2017.
Ooh.
I know it. 2017.
Yeah, 2017. You're right.
Wow. And yet, the funniest thing is the Minnesota Wild. The Golden Knights have been more successful than the Minnesota Wild.
Wait, the Minnesota Wild have been more successful than the Minnesota Wild?
No, the Golden Knights have been more successful than the Minnesota Wild.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how the expansion draft worked when the Wild, the Blue Jackets joined, but it seems like the Golden Knights. If it was the same kind of expansion draft, awesome. But it seems like the Golden Knights had a great team to start off with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did.
And everyone and all the Canadian fans were saying the fix was in. Vegas, they got in because of cheating. They got the best players. And I'm like, no, it's terrible ownership that you lost all these good players. So, but anyway, back to Minnesota. You know what? You at least made the postseason, unlike the Blue Jackets. How about that?
That's right.
Now, can you ever win a postseason? TBD on that.
What?
To be determined for Minnesota.
On what?
Winning a postseason.
Oh.
Yeah, not this year. I can determine that.
Not this year, not last year, not the year before, Not even during COVID. Can't win no postseasons. And now, gentlemen, we got two more talking about. We got the Dallas Stars beating up the Colorado Avalanche. And Christopher, where's my money? Where's my money? I was right.
Sent it to me, I believe.
Yes, sir. I literally just sent it to Doug.
All right, that's fine. But who was right? Just apology.
Yeah, for our viewers that don't recall what we talked about on our previous podcast, we talked about this series when it was, I think it was in Game 3 or Game 4. I started off by saying that the Avalanche would win in 6. Doug said that the Avalanche would win in 7. And then Mr. Stuart Jasper said that the Dallas Stars would win in 7. And Stuart Jasper was 100%
Stradamus is right.
He was absolutely correct. So hats off. Congratulations to Stuart to winning the $5 bet from Doug and I, because he was correct. But like we mentioned, and I agree with Doug, Doug was the first person to mention this on either last week's podcast or 2 weeks ago. This might have been the best series so far of the NHL podcast, because you have we even talked about it, that it based on the seedings and how teams are seeded to play each other. Like this is probably the best series that we've seen in the NHL playoffs so far, and I completely agree with that. And it showed, because it went to Game 7. The best team won. Even though the Stars, they were out, was it Jason Robertson? I do believe he was injured.
That's still impressive. Without Jason Robinson, they still won a series?
Yeah. So, I mean, as much as I would have loved to see the Avalanche win, Cole McCarr, can't think of the other guy. But, man, I was a complete Avalanche fan. But Stuart was right. He won. So, good job to the Stars.
Yes. And as Douglas, the number one Avalanche hater that's now a fan of the Avalanche, do you have any eulogy thoughts on the Colorado Avalanche?
Oh, man, that had to hurt to have a hat trick scored by their old player.
They
were up 2 goals in the third period, too. They're up 2-0 in the third. Like, that's a heartbreaker, man. It's been Heartbreak City, like, this kind of postseason. It's been there haven't been a lack of good, really, like, nice scripts, you know what I'm saying? Like, the way in the NBA there's just Brunson and Halliburton being clutch. The way in this one there's a Game 7 2-goal comeback by an ex-player that got traded. Like, that was, wow, what a game.
Yeah, thanks, Doug, for bringing up Tyrese Halliburton. That was really, was really nice.
Who's more clutch, though? I want to ask that. Who's more clutch, him or Brunson?
If I had to go Brunson, well, Brunson won Game 1. That was awesome. But right now, the Pacers are up 2-0. So, I mean, as much as I don't want to say it because I'm a Cavs fan, obviously, go Cleveland. But Tyrese Halliburton, he's more clutch.
Man, I don't know, though. Like, what Brunson did to the Pistons, though, man?
True.
Like, that was 2 clutch dudes, that's for sure.
Would you, is it more difficult to win in Boston, or is it more difficult to win in Cleveland?
I mean, I would have to imagine in Boston.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying Jalen Brunson might be more clutch than Tyrese. I said Halliburton. So, I agree with you. I guess Jalen Brunson would be more clutch than Halliburton. Because, winning in Boston. So, I agree with you. Yeah, Jalen Brunson's more clutch. You're right.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Sorry, I'm so sad that the Cavs are down 0-2.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway,
no worries, man. Feel your feelings.
Yeah, right. That's why a Cleveland Browns flag is flying over here, not a Cleveland Cavaliers flag.
Yeah. But anyway, Douglas, do you have any final eulogy thoughts on the Colorado Avalanche?
I mean, just it sucks, man. Having to play Dallas was a tough first rounder. They're definitely one of the probably best 8 teams in the league, but you can't win them all. You guys got your Stanley Cup a few years ago, so hopefully that's good enough.
Yeah, I can't get mad. I mean, you know what? You won a cup, so good for you, but still, it probably still stings to man, we could have won this series.
Oh, I mean, I still feel sad that the Pistons lost, man. I mean, that was a series that we very easily could have, maybe even should have won.
Yes, indeed. And now we got one more teams. And Douglas, I'm not feeling well right now because I feel blue because the Blues lost in overtime, second overtime against the Winnipeg Jets to make it a 4-3 series right now. Man.
1.6 seconds to go. That's all they were away, Stu. 1.6 seconds.
To go to third overtime, and they can't do it.
Yeah.
What do you feel about the Blues on this one? This must be like an agonizing. Like, who do you think has more of an agonizing defeat? Is it the Blues or is it the Kings?
Ooh, weren't the? I mean,
the Blues for sure.
Wasn't this series back and forth?
Yes.
I mean, this was the Blues were 1.6 seconds away, Stu.
Yeah.
1.6.
So see, Jets were up 2-0, and then the Blues tied the series at 2-2. Then the Jets go up 3-2. The Blues tie the series at 3-3. But man, Game 7 was that last night. It doesn't matter what day it was. But man, holy moly, the Blues. I think I mentioned earlier in the podcast, the Blues were up 3-1 in Game 7, away ice. They're in Canada, in Winnipeg. They're up 3-1. The score is 3-1 with 2 minutes left. The Winnipeg Jets score, make it 3-2. Okay, 3-2. You still have a 1-goal lead. You should be able to clinch it out. Just put the puck down ice. Whether it's an icing, there's an empty net, score a goal, go up 4-2. But no, like Doug was saying, 1.6 seconds left on the clock, and the Winnipeg Jets tied up. Woo!
1.6, dude. If that shot slightly goes different.
The deflection, wow. That's a heartbreaker for St. Louis Blues fans. Man, I was hyped. I was excited. It was amazing.
Yeah, that was about as heartbreaking as it gets, really.
Yeah, that 1.6 will cost the Blues.
I know we love to talk trash about the Cleveland Browns. We love to talk trash about the Dallas Cowboys. But holy moly, what a heartbreaking moment that must have been for St. Louis Blues fans. 1.6 seconds. You're 2 seconds away from beating the best team in the NHL, the President's Trophy Cup winner. And it all falls apart. And then you lose in double overtime. Oh, man.
Well, yeah. I want to say a thank you to the Philadelphia Eagles really quick, too. Since they took out the Rams, man, how could the St. Louis Rams leave, Stu? St. Louis gets done dirty all the time. Unreal.
Yes. But hey, I will tell you this: the LA Rams couldn't beat New England in the Super Bowl, but at least the St. Louis Blues beat Boston in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's just like, man, I just feel like it's such disappointment. It's just, you should have won this series. I feel like that's my number 2 team. Like, you should have won this one. 1.6 seconds cost them a series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they definitely should have won it. No doubt.
And you went to overtime twice and you lost to them.
Well, man, that the first overtime was back and forth. I was even texting us, our group chat. I thought I was going to go to a triple overtime. But man, that was it. I mean, I'm glad that it happened the way it is because I'd much rather see the Dallas Stars play the top-seeded Winnipeg Jets. Because obviously, if it was the Stars versus St. Louis Blues, it'd be the Stars making the Western Conference Finals. And I'm glad that the way it panned out. But man, the way it did pan out, wow, what an exciting thing to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, both playoff series have been just like NHL and NBA have been amazing this year.
It's been amazing. And unfortunately for the Blues, St. Louis Blues blew this series away. Done.
I like that. They blew it. I was going to say they're singing the blues now.
They're singing the blues. Their note just went up in a cappella.
All right, I like that too. our first 2 puns were good.
Yeah, our first 2 puns were better.
Yeah, those are some nice ones, boys.
And now we got 8 eulogies. So let's start talking about the Leafs versus Florida, I know it was kind of an ugly win. They had a huge lead, and the Leafs did win 4-2, 4-5. I'm sorry, 5-4. I think at one point it was actually 4-1.
It was 4-1 in favor of the Leafs. I was texting you guys last night. I was like, man, the Leafs might start leafing. Because all of a sudden it was 4-1, then it was 4-3. But then I'm pretty sure there was an empty net. It made it 5-3, and the Panthers might have scored to make it 5-4. But yeah, Leafs, I'm surprised. Man, they're getting it done right now.
They are getting it done. Now, I should say this, gentlemen. Who do you think is going to win this series? Toronto or Florida? Toronto. Who wants this? We want Florida.
Stu, give me the maple syrups.
Ooh.
What game?
6.
I'm going to say Florida game 7.
Wow. Are you guys going to do another $5 bet on this?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Whoa.
Does that have to be the correct? Does that have to be the correct game and everything, or just a bet on Florida versus Tampa, or Florida?
Let's do Florida versus Tampa.
Sure, Stu.
Let's shake it. I trust Florida.
I'll double it down on my Toronto Maple Leafs, Stu.
So is that a $5 bet between Doug and Stu? Doug picks the Maple Leafs. Stu picks the Panthers.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Nice.
With pleasure.
I'm saying I'm not doing that again. I'm only going to do it if we're picking the correct game, because I like that correct game picking. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
But Christopher, you get to be the tiebreaker.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think game 1 was a fluke. Man, I know the Maple Leafs were in charge of the game the entire time, but Florida, they had a great comeback. Almost could have probably beat the Maple Leafs. I'm going Florida. How many games though? What, sir? You said 7. I mean, not that it really matters because my opinion. I'm not really betting on this. I'm going to go Florida Panthers in 6.
Woo! In your face, Douglas.
Well, that's all right, Stu. You can just give me my money.
Because the Florida Panthers, they won the cup last year, right? How many
money. I want my Venmo. I want some crispy $5.
How many years in a row have the Florida Panthers made it to the Stanley Cup?
Didn't they go back to back?
2 back to back. Lost 1 and then won 1.
Okay, nice. So let's make it a three-peat. Well, not three-peat winning, but make it a three-peat winning the Eastern Conference Finals. Heck yeah.
Yes. I will say this. This is impressive because I remember 5 years ago in 2019, the Florida Panthers were an absolute joke of a franchise. And then look how they've been now. They're like a serious team.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's right indeed. And now we got one Eastern Conference. Now we got the battle of we defeated our opponents decisively. Carolina versus the Capitals. I know they went to overtime. But who do you think is going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals?
I mean, the Capitals were up 1-0 pretty much the entire game. Seems like Carolina came back in the third period to tie it up and then won it overtime. So I'm going Caps. I'm going Caps to win it in 6.
I like the Hurricanes a lot here.
Whoa.
I was going to say Hurricanes in 6.
Ooh.
Whoa.
I think they're due, man. I think they've been so close that I'm kind of flipping to think that Carolina might finally make the Cup final.
See this is what I'm sorry to interrupt you, Sue. This is what I'm worried about. I like what you're saying, Doug, especially since Mr. Ovi, Mr. Alexander Ovechkin, he has the #1 scoring title in NHL history. So like everyone's hyped. Oh yeah, he's gonna make it to the Stanley Cup. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, man, I think everyone's overhyped on the Capitals. So I think it might be the Hurricanes, but I'm still liking the Capitals. But I'm not gonna do a $5 bet, Doug, because there's always that chance that the Hurricanes get that hurricane and spinning and beat the Capitals.
Yeah, no worries.
Doug, sir, who are you taking? And are you going to do a $5 bet?
No $5 bet. Capitals game 7.
All right.
I think the Capitals got. I don't know. I know they lost this game, but still, I just have a feeling Capitals are got this game. Am I not wrong?
I mean, you can't be wrong if it's an opinion.
Like I said,
unless it turns out to be a fact.
You know what? Like I said, I always agree. You can disagree with my opinions, but my opinion is still correct.
Not when it comes to the Senators beating the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay, that was wrong. Boo!
So your opinion was wrong there, still.
Okay, my opinion might have been wrong, but still.
All right. So who do you guys are we going to move on to the next?
Yes, we actually are going to move on to the next one.
Semifinal. Who are we taking over here?
Winnipeg versus the Stars. Two teams that made tough opponents.
Honestly, this is my most anticipated series out of all the semifinals, Eastern, Western. Man, I'm excited. Like tomorrow, May 7th, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Game 1. But man, I like the Winnipeg Jets. I can't say that they will win the series, especially since they went to 7 games against the St. Louis Blues. But man, this is gonna be an exciting series. I want this series to go to 7 games. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so hard to say that a team from Canada is going to go to the Stanley Cup. So I'm going to say like what you did for the team that beat the Avalanche. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Stars in 7 games.
Why did you copy me, Fyodor? Because I actually picked the Dallas Stars in Game 7.
Oh, let's go!
Let's go! I don't know. I mean, I love Winnipeg. But actually, you know what? I just feel like I'm flipped. I know I picked Winnipeg to make it to the finals, but I'm just like, I think it might be the Dallas Stars.
Oh, I definitely did not pick either of these teams to go to the Stanley Cup. I picked the Edmonton Oilers. Doug, who are you picking? You want the Jets or you want the Stars?
I mean, I think I'm rooting for the Jets here. I'm all Canada today.
Canadian, eh?
Today's a Canadian day.
It's not Cinco de Mayo. It's Cinco, the 6th of May for the Canadian Day.
Yeah. It's Cinco Francais Canada.
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever we're saying right now.
You think the Jets are going to win this, Douglas?
But
I like the Jets a lot. I mean, I think they broke the president's trophy curse there with that epic Game 7. Like when you score with 1.6 left and then you win in overtime, there's something brewing.
So what in 4 games, 5 games, 6 games, 7 games? What are you feeling?
Oh man, I think it'll be a great series. I think I'm going to go 7. I think this is going to go the distance.
Nice. So we're all picking 7 games. Let's go. I want this series. Like I said earlier, this might be the best series we have in the semifinal region, East West. I want this series to go to 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I want, Fyodor? I want Game 7. Number 1. Number 2. You know what I also want? Overtime. Game 7.
Ooh.
Oh.
So I learned the other day when Game 7 Jets Blues went to overtime. In the 107 years of the NHL, there have been 50 Game 7 overtime games. So yeah, a little fun fact for all of our viewers out there. All right, Golden Knights Oilers. Who are we taking? It's 2-1.
Who are we taking right now?
It's right now 2-1.
I know they're in the lead by 2-1 in the second series as of this recording. I'm going Vegas. I know this is the rematch. It's very interesting because last year, I believe they did play against each other, and Edmonton won this series on the Golden Knights.
But Stuart, you're going to Golden Knights, all right?
I feel like it might be gold. I think this is also a good series. I also feel like that this series will go to Game 7. I'm going Vegas.
Doug,
yeah, I like Vegas a lot here too.
All right, I'm the Lone Ranger out because I've always liked the Edmonton Oilers. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, I want Connor McDavid to win 4 Nations Cup and the hoist Lord Stanley. So if you guys are going do you guys both say Knights in 7?
Yeah. I'll go Knights in 6.
Knights in 6. All right. Well, we're not putting money on it, but I'm going Oilers. It looks like they might lose unless there's an amazing, dramatic third period here in Game 1. I'm going Oilers in 7. This is the only Canadian team I'm going to take to go to a conference final and possibly make it to the Stanley Cup.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see indeed. We'll see indeed. And now, look at that. We got all the NHL teams. Look at that. We got an hour. So are you ready to do some NBA talk real quick?
Oh, you know it.
I mean, do you also want to have eulogy on the sad Lakers choking a series?
Can we do it on the Pistons?
Yes, you can do the eulogy on the Pistons.
Sweet. I'm in.
What? The Pistons, what? They lost in 6?
They lost in 6.
That's very respectful. Because the Pistons, what? I'm not sure how many wins they had last season. But for them
they were garbage last season. They had 27 losses in a row.
Woo!
Yeah, they set the all-time single-season record.
Oh man, that's amazing. Good job.
Yeah, and then to almost win in a playoff series, wow.
Yeah, honestly, hats off to JB Bickerstaff. I don't know if he was the coach here last year for the Cavs, but man, he possibly could have been the coach of the year this year for the NBA for the Detroit Pistons. And yeah, hats off to Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, and also, do you have any thoughts and final eulogies on the Lakers and LeBron getting bounced out of the first round?
I mean, I can rant and rave about LeBron James for a good 30 minutes, but I'm not here to do that.
Oh, my God. Do we want to do the rant on LeBron Power Hour?
I mean, okay, so question for you, gentlemen. If there wasn't that trade, Luka coming from Dallas to LA, and then Anthony Davis coming from Anthony Davis coming from LA to Dallas, had Anthony Davis still been with the Lakers, do you think the Lakers would have made it to the second round of the playoffs and not lost
No. Nothing happens. Nothing good happens in the LA, so no, nothing changes.
Okay. All right. I respect that.
Well, who are they playing against? They're playing against Minnesota.
Yeah, that's right, because it was Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves against the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I think Anthony Edwards is the real deal, I guess, more than anything. Like, I like the way their team's built. I like Anthony Edwards. I don't think it would have changed.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think receiving Luka off that trade was an amazing thing for the Lakers, but I can't comprehend why the Lakers did not beat. The Lakers were a 3 seed and they beat, I think it was the 6 seed Minnesota Timberwolves. For them not to beat them, that's just like, what are you doing? I mean, I know what they're doing, and the catalyst might be LeBron. The catalyst might be that they don't have enough supporting role players. Because
that's kind of garbage at this point. I'll say that's kind of garbage at this point, though, to me. Because I'm also sitting there with them like, you have Luka, you have Austin Reeves, you have Bronny, bro. Like, you should have been fine.
Bronny James is going to be the future of the NBA.
See, like Luka's he's 6'5", 6'4". LeBron 6'6", 6'7". Like, what other big men do they have? I know they have a couple other big guys, but like you guys need some. Like, the Lakers need some big players.
Well, I mean, it sucked because they made that trade. Do you remember the trade?
Yeah, they gave away Anthony Davis.
Not that one. They made a trade with Charlotte for a center. But then the guy failed his physicals.
Oh.
So, like, they did make a trade, but then because the guy failed his physicals, he wasn't able to join the team.
Oh, man.
So, like, they did try, to their credit.
I mean, Don't you feel bad for these Lakers fans? I just got to tell you this, Douglas. Don't you feel bad? They didn't have adversity in their lives.
I don't think we feel bad. It's because after Luka joined the Lakers, man, they went on a hot streak.
Yeah, no, they were
like
hot.
they went. It was complete domination. And that's what I think. I'm not saying facts right here. I think the Lakers were either the 6th or 7th seed in the Western Conference, and then after they gained Luka, they jumped up to the 3rd seed. Lakers were looking like complete domination.
Well, I think we do forget. I don't think we give enough credit to how tight the West was, though. It's like, granted, it was the 3 versus 6, but I think it was like a 2-game difference on the season.
I mean, heck, you have the Golden State Warriors versus Houston Rockets. Rockets were 2, and Houston Rockets were 2, and then the Golden State Warriors were, would that make them 7?
And they had to do the play-in tournament, yeah.
Yeah, and the Golden State Warriors beat them. And now Golden State Warriors, I think last time I checked, they're beating the Timberwolves right now. But, yeah.
Yeah.
But now, look at this. We got it all done with our podcast right now. Gentlemen, do you have any final thoughts? NHL, NBA.
No, man. Hopefully the Cavs bounce back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
I mean,
Halliburton, man. Halliburton.
We don't want a eulogy next week for the Cavs, right, Fyodor?
I mean, we haven't really been doing any eulogies for any teams NBA wise, so I hope we don't do a Cavs eulogy by any means. If the Cavs do lose, Game 3 is Friday night, Game 4 is Sunday. That means Game 5 would possibly be Tuesday or Wednesday. Oh man, let's hope it doesn't come.
Halliburton's the real deal, though, man. Like I wasn't a believer, and then I saw him do it against Giannis, and then I saw him do it against the Cavs. I'm like, dude, this dude's legit.
I'm not sure if I mentioned it on this podcast before we started recording or after we started recording, but I mentioned on last podcast, I said, hey, watch out for the Indiana Pacers. As a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, I'm more scared of the Pacers than I am the Boston Celtics. So, and here we are. Cavs are down 0-2 in the series. Lost 2 games at home. We'll see what happens Game 3 and 4. Let's go.
Yes. And also, sorry, gentlemen, that I did yawn because I'm so ready to yawn. Ouch!
Oh, what time is it? Oh, it's time for bed.
Toronto Maple Leafs out of this season.
Oh, all right.
Also, Douglas, do you have any? Wait a minute. Fyodor said some final thoughts, correct?
I did.
I think we all got some final thoughts in there. I'm thought out.
You're thought out too, indeed. So probably this yawn means probably it's time to end this podcast. So next week, we're going to probably talk about what happened in the NHL. We'll probably put in some more games. We're going to see how this one. Hopefully there will not be any eulogies by next week, but we'll see. And as always, I'm going to catch you later, Mr. Gator. So as always, take care. Bye-bye.